What's up, everyone? We're going to be going through the best NBA player props on PrizePicks today. Now, don't forget to like this video, as it does let me know to continue to give you free picks every day. So make sure to like this video, clicking that button down below. And if we get 550 likes, I will do another video for tomorrow. Now, I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group. And as you guys see, we actually got 20 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now, a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got one pick wrong, got 20 right, which is a 95% win rate. Yes, guys, you heard that right. 95% win rate. So we're in a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 95% win rate and get 20 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $355 just yesterday. Another member who won $260 for the 7th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So quick shout out to Joseph Flores ZH1EL, who said cashed yesterday. So shouts out to them, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. All right, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to be talking about is Donovan Mitchell, and this one is for points and rebounds combined for 34, and this one actually is for more. Now, as we all know, there was a little bit of a short break for the NBA, and now we come back on Christmas Day for another game, and Cleveland have themselves a very good matchup. But first, looking off at Donovan Mitchell, we have seen him go on the over in 2 out of the last 5 games, with one of them being a push. Now, looking at those 5 games, we see on December 13th, faced off against Washington Wizards, had 52 points and rebounds there. Then December 15th, faced off against Charlotte Hornets, had 19 points and rebounds, had 33 points and rebounds against Chicago on December 18th. Then Charlotte Hornets on December 23rd had 34 points and rebounds, and then most recently had 31 points and rebounds against the New Orleans Pelicans on December 24th. So when we actually do see Donovan Mitchell, we have seen him do a great job for Cleveland Cavaliers. However, when it comes to this line, he's actually struggled to go on the over. Now, coming into this next matchup, obviously we are thinking it is going to be different. Now, looking at Cleveland Cavaliers, we do know that they have themselves a very good matchup, and an exciting one at that, on Christmas Day against none other than New York Knicks. Now, it is definitely going to be an exciting game between both of these teams. Both are big teams in the Eastern Conference, and looking at where both of them do rank, starting off with Cleveland. Now, Cleveland have struggled a little bit, in the middle of the season. They have gotten on a little bit of a losing streak, recently, and it has definitely fallen them all the way to the 7th spot in the Eastern Conference. At one point, they were in the top 3. They've fallen all the way to the 7th, and on top of that, they are also currently having 17 wins, 14 losses. That's a 54.8% win percentage there. They're also 11-8 from home, 6-6 from away, and are currently on a 2-game win streak. So they have been on a little bit of a win streak as of recent, and Cleveland Cavaliers are going to try their best to find their way and claw their way back into the top 5. And they face off against a New York Knicks team who have done fantastic and have also recently won the NBA Cup, who do rank 2nd in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 20 wins, 9 losses. That's a 69% win percentage. And on top of that, also are 14-2 from home, 5-7 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So very interesting to see. Obviously, Cleveland face off against a team that is just coming off winning a great NBA Cup. But looking at New York Knicks and where they do rank defensively, we do see that New York Knicks rank 7th when it comes to points allowed, which is interesting to see. Then looking at rebounds allowed, we also do see that New York Knicks do do rank pretty well, as when it comes to rebounds allowed, they do rank 5th. Now, just to give you a bit more detail, New York Knicks, who do rank 7th in points, they only allow 112.9 points per game. And then rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Knicks only allow 41.2 rebounds per game. So why do we like the over for this situation here? And a big reason being is that when we look on a per position basis, we do see a little bit of a different story. Now, Donovan Mitchell is a great player, but looking at someone like Donovan, also over the last game, he has faced off against much tougher matchups when it comes to restricting, points and rebounds to the guard position. He's definitely struggled. It's shown time and time again in these matchups. And because of that, we do believe that these times that he has gone on the under, it's pushed this line a little bit too low, that now facing off against the Knicks, who do a pretty poor job at restricting points and rebounds to the guard position, we definitely see Donovan being able to take advantage of this and go on the over there. Now, his average over the last 5 is 33.8, so slightly under. But as I mentioned before, there are some massive outlier games, especially on December 15th against Charlotte. Only had 19 points in rebound. It's brought this average very low. It's brought his line very low. And now I do believe there's a lot more value actually to go on the over here. When we look at Cleveland and New York Knicks, both are decently paced teams. I wouldn't really consider them super fast paced, but we are expecting a good amount of pace still from this game. And as we always mentioned, good amount of pace leads to more volume and more opportunity to score and also rebound there. So it won't be anything excessive, but it is still definitely something to keep an eye out for coming into this matchup for sure. Now, looking at what the pros do have to say about it, about Donovan Mitchell, obviously we are looking at, points and rebounds for 34. Now, looking at what, the pros actually have, they have him at 34.5. So they do have him at 0.5 over. And because of that, the discrepancy when it comes to the bookies, it is kind of hard to really justify due to the fact that, it is a different line to what we actually have. Now, looking at the projection, however, they also have him projected for 30.3. So they actually have him projected for the under. So we are going against the grain here when it comes to projection, when it also comes to, I guess, also the bookies allow, but we still do very much like the over for this situation here, due to the fact that we are looking at the situation that is for New York Knicks, also for Donovan Mitchell, and we definitely just see him being able to take advantage of this and go on the over there. As I mentioned before, Cleveland have definitely fallen a little bit when it comes to their ranking, and I just do believe coming into this next matchup, Donovan Mitchell is going to do anything in his power to bring his team back into more of a top 5, top 3 position for the Eastern Conference. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for someone like Donovan Mitchell coming into this game. See a lot of value there to go on the over. So Donovan Mitchell, 34 points and rebounds, 4 more, I think is a fantastic pick. So getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Marcus Smart. So this is from a different matchup on Christmas Day. Now this one is for Marcus Smart for 7.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Marcus Smart, we actually have seen him go on the under in 1 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those 5 games, you see on December 11th, faced off against San Antonio Spurs, actually had 26 points there. Then December 15th, faced off against Phoenix, had 8 points in that matchup. Then December 19th, faced off against Utah Jazz, had 17 points. December 21st, faced off against the LA Clippers, had 5 points. Then 14 points against Phoenix Suns on December 24th. So it has been pretty interesting for Marcus Smart. We have seen him go on the over, but we do like the under for this situation here. As I mentioned, he's going on the under in 1 out of the last 5, and his average over the last 5 is also 14. Now, coming into this next matchup, we do know that the Los Angeles Lakers have themselves a very good matchup against none other than the Houston Rockets. So, looking at both of these teams, both are big juggernauts in the Western Conference, because we've actually found that Los Angeles Lakers do currently rank 4th in the Western Conference. Now, they are coming off a 2-game losing streak so far, so they really are pushing and hoping to get a win in this next matchup. Now, they've actually had 19 wins and 9 losses so far this season, a 67.9% win percentage. They're also 7-4 from home, 12-5 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak, as we've mentioned. But they face off against a Rockets team who also have struggled, because they currently rank 6th in the Western Conference. Now, at one point, Lakers were third, Rockets were second, but it does seem that both of these teams have slipped up just a little bit. But looking at Rockets so far, they currently have 17 wins, 10 losses, a 63% win percentage, and also 8-2 from home, 9-8 from away, and are currently on a 2-game losing streak. So, very, very interesting to see from none other than actually the Houston Rockets and the Lakers. They definitely are in a little bit of a rough patch for sure, but we also do see when it comes to Houston Rockets and looking at them defensively, we do see that Houston Rockets do rank when it comes to points allowed. They do rank 6th, only allowing 112.7 points per game. So Marcus Smart and also, the rest of the LA Lakers are definitely going to have a lot of struggle coming into this matchup, especially against a very, very tough Houston Rockets team. Now, we still do very much like the under for that reason for sure, but also looking at someone like Marcus Smart, we have seen him play in a couple of games, and he's had some big games. He had that game against Spurs where he had 26, another game against Utah where he had 17, and some of this is definitely due to the fact that, there are those outlier games. Players will have their moments, especially if certain injuries are in place. There has been a couple of games over the last 5. Luke has been injured. LeBron's been sitting out in some of those, but all those things taken into consideration, there are definitely times where role players can turn into the main star for that game, and it was definitely one of those moments for Marcus Smart. And although I think that is great for him, when it comes to his line, it now becomes super overly inflated, especially with the matchup against Houston, where they are a very, very good defensive team at points, and also we are also expecting Luka Doncic to come back in this game as well. So we're definitely going to see a hit from Marcus Smart usage rate. But when it comes to Smart's usage rate, as we've mentioned, it is definitely very unpredictable. He has had some games where it's done very well and other games where he's done very poorly and barely gets a shot off. So, for someone like Marcus Smart coming into a matchup, especially against the Houston Rockets, unfortunately, we aren't expecting a very expected sort of usage rate from someone like Smart coming into this game, which is why we do very much like the under for this situation here. Now, looking at both Lakers and Houston, both are pretty, great teams, but what we do also know is that Houston love to slow down the pace quite a lot, and we are expecting them to slow down the pace of this Los Angeles Lakers team, which definitely could lead to a lot of problems, because as we always mention, slower pace means less volume, and less volume means less opportunity to score, rebound, and all those different things. But as we mentioned, for Marcus Smart, we are focusing on points for this one. Now, looking at what the pros had to say about it, Marcus Smart, now, they actually have him for 6.5 points, while we actually have him for 7.5. So it is a bit of a different line here. And obviously, the bookies aren't matching with us due to the fact that it is a different line. But we also do see projection-wise, they have him projected for 9.8 points, while we do like the under for it. Now, we are sticking strong to going on the under for this one. Yes, as we mentioned, he has had some great games here and there. But I do believe the pace, the defense of Houston Rockets is definitely going to be too much for Marcus Smart, and the fact that Luka is expected to come back in this game as well, we definitely see that being taken away from Marcus Smart's usage rate, unfortunately. Now, when it comes to Marcus as well, we do also know, as I mentioned, he isn't really the main scorer for this team, and I do believe, especially against tougher matchups, he's definitely one of the first to actually see a decrease in his usage rate when it comes to points, and he's definitely going to take a hit on the amount of usage rate and the amount of shots he gets up for sure. So the lower amount of volume that he does have or opportunities to score is definitely going to have a huge effect there, which is why we do like the under for it. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for Marcus Smart coming into this matchup. It is definitely going to be an exciting one, but we do or are expecting that his line coming into this next game, it is a little bit overinflated, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under. So Marcus Smart, 7.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. So getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than Aaron Wiggins. So Aaron Wiggins, great player. Now this one is for points, rebounds, and assists for 11.5, and this one actually is for less. Now looking at Aaron Wiggins, we do know he has gone on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games here. Looking at those, we saw on December 8th, faced off against Utah Jazz, actually had 23 points, rebounds, and assists there, so that was his only game on the over. Then faced off on December 11th against Phoenix Suns, had 10 points, rebounds, and assists. Then 1 PRA against San Antonio Spurs on December 14th. December 19th, faced off against LA Clippers, had a 9 points, rebounds, and assists. And then 4 PRA against San Antonio Spurs again on December 24th. So it is pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at someone like Aaron Wiggins, we have seen him struggle quite a bit when it comes to this line because, like I mentioned, gone on the under in 4 out of the last 5, but his average over the last 5 is also 9.4. So he's definitely struggled quite a lot there, unfortunately. And when it comes to Wiggins and Oklahoma City Thunder, they find themselves against another matchup again against none other than San Antonio Spurs. So Spurs have been a little bit of a nightmare for Oklahoma City Thunder. I definitely do sense a little bit of a rivalry, brewing between both of these teams. But looking at where both of these teams do lie, Oklahoma City Thunder currently are number 1 in the Western Conference, and they actually have 26 wins and 4 losses. Now, they have an 86.7% win percentage there, 14-0 from home, 12-3 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So, obviously, we do know the Thunder are trying to beat that, best NBA season record, and now their chances are looking very, very slim because Oklahoma City Thunder did lose recently to none other than San Antonio Spurs. So Spurs have definitely been a little bit of a rivalry from both these teams, so it's definitely been very exciting to watch. And looking at Spurs on the other side, Spurs have been absolutely dominating. Now they come in at the 2nd spot in the Western Conference, but they have 22 wins, 7 losses, a 75.9% win percentage there. They're also 11-2 from home, 10-5 from away, and are currently on a 7-game win streak. So they've been absolutely fantastic. They are currently on the highest and longest win streak out of any team so far in the NBA. So they've been, on a roll as of lately. But when it comes to actually, both of these teams, we do know San Antonio Spurs have gotten Victor Wembanyama back, which has definitely helped that win streak for sure, especially against tougher matchups. But looking at San Antonio Spurs defensively, we do actually see they rank 9th when it comes to points allowed, only allowing 113.6 points per game. Then we look at assists allowed. We also do see that the Spurs also rank pretty decent as they rank 15th, only allowing 26.6 assists per game. And then rebounds allowed, Spurs rank 7th, only allowing 41.6 rebounds per game. So we actually have seen San Antonio Spurs do a fantastic job defensively, and that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for someone like Aaron Wiggins coming into this game. Yes, Wiggins is a great player, but his usage rate has definitely struggled quite a lot ever since Oklahoma City Thunder have had returns of certain injuries, and it's definitely taken a huge hit, not only just to Aaron Wiggins' usage rate, but also his minutes out there on the floor and the game plan and the offensive game plan specifically. That really has affected Aaron Wiggins greatly. Now, looking at the matchup as well, as we mentioned, San Antonio Spurs are just a massive and great defensive team and a defensive juggernaut. And a great job about Spurs is that they do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists as well to the guard position. So we definitely see that being a huge effect there. When we look at the last 5 games, we do see the 2 games where he had the worst PRA and pretty much a very bad PRA, which is December 14th, where he had a 1 PRA and then a 4 PRA against December 24th. He versed the exact same team, which is the Spurs. So Spurs seem to be Aaron Wiggins' kryptonite, which is why we do like the under for this situation here. Victor Wembanyama's defense and also the defense of everyone in that Spurs roster has definitely caused a lot of havoc on Wiggins, and that's why we are expecting a similar sort of outcome coming into this next game for sure. Now, looking at Aaron Wiggins, we do actually see when it comes to points, rebounds, and assists, they have him for 11.5, so same as us. But what we also do see is that when it comes to 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists, they have him favored for the under as well. So the bookies actually agree with us. They have him at minus 130, which I think is great. However, we are going a little bit against the grain here because when we look at the projection, we see that he is projected for 12.7. So we are going against the projection there, but we are following the bookies, and that's definitely due to the fact that, as we always mention, matchups, that's what's most important. And with a matchup like against San Antonio Spurs, we definitely see that being a huge problem for Wiggins for sure. Now, when we also look at those last 15 games, yes, he has had a lot of games where he's gone on the over, but you also do have to realize some of those games were against much easier matchups, and also OKC have had a little bit of change when it comes to their roster updates, people coming back from injury, different game plans, different sort of strategies. And as of recent, we have seen a very, very different Aaron Wiggins in a sense that his play style has definitely changed a little bit to fit more of the system that they're creating. And we definitely see that, or has seen that affect Aaron Wiggins greatly. So, coming into this next matchup, we do very, very much like the under for this situation here, as we've mentioned. So we are following with what the bookies are saying. So Aaron Wiggins, 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. All right, so getting into the next pick, we're going to be talking about none other than Karl-Anthony Towns. So Karl-Anthony Towns, great player, and this one is for 1.5 3-pointers made, and this one actually is for more. Now, looking at Karl-Anthony Towns, we actually have seen him go on the over in 2 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those last 5 games, we do see, starting off with December 10th, faced off against Toronto, had 1 3-pointer made there. December 14th, faced off against Orlando, had 2 3-pointers made. Then December 20th, faced off against Philadelphia 76ers, had 1 3-pointer made. Then December 22nd, faced off against Miami, had 0 3-pointers made. And then 3 3-pointers made against Minnesota Timberwolves on December 24th. So we have seen Karl-Anthony Towns do a fantastic job over the last couple of games. Now, coming into this matchup, it is definitely going to be an exciting one, but we do know that his average over the last 5 is also 1.4. So it is slightly below this line, but still very, very close. Now, looking at someone like Karl-Anthony Towns and the New York Knicks, they do find themselves in a really good matchup against none other than the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, we have briefly touched on this matchup, but just to quickly remind you again, when it comes to both of these teams, starting off with the New York Knicks come in at the second spot in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 20 wins and 9 losses. That's a 69% win percentage there. They're also 14-2 from home, 5-7 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So pretty interesting to see in that matchup. Then we also do see, when it comes to the matchup against Cleveland, we do see Cleveland come in at the 7th spot in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 17 wins, 14 losses, and also a 54.8% win percentage there. 11-8 from home, 6-6 from away, and are currently on a 2-game win streak. So very interesting to see in that matchup. Obviously, looking at both of these teams, both are still very decent teams in their respective conference, and because of that, it is still going to be an exciting game for sure. Now, even though Cleveland have struggled a little bit as of lately, we definitely still are expecting them to put up a fight coming into this matchup. Now, obviously, we do like the 3-point defense from actual New York Knicks, but we are looking at Cleveland's 3-point defense because we are looking at Karl-Anthony Towns and looking at their defense. We do see, starting off with 3-point percentage allowed, we see that the Cleveland Cavaliers rank 26. So they do allow a very high percentage when it comes to 3 points. They actually allow a 37.3% 3-point shot. So that's a really, really poorly defensive from them. When it comes to 3-point attempts allowed, Cleveland do rank a little bit better, but they still rank 12th. So they allow 36.2 3-point attempts per game. And on top of that, they also rank 17th when it comes to 3-point makes, allowing 13.5. So as we mentioned before, Cleveland Cavaliers do rank pretty poorly, when it comes to restricting 3-point percentage, 3-point makes. Now, they do rank a little bit better in 3-point attempts, but we don't really see that affecting that greatly because we do also see, looking on a per position basis, we do see that Cleveland Cavaliers do actually a really poor job at restricting the 3-ball to the big man position. So for that reason, we definitely are expecting the over for someone like, Karl-Anthony Towns coming into this game. Cat has been playing absolutely fantastic time and time again, and we also have seen him, do a great job, especially against poorly defensive 3-point teams. Now, yes, when you look at some of his most recent games, yes, he's only gone on the over in 2 out of the last 5, but he has faced off against much harder matchups, which has definitely had a huge effect on his line. But now that I do believe that he faces off against a much easier easier matchup like Cleveland Cavaliers, we should see a bit of a different story here. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the over for this one. Now, when we look at someone like Karl-Anthony Towns and what the pros actually have to say about it, we do see something pretty interesting. Now, they do have him for 1.5 3-pointers made as well, so the same line here. But when it comes to the actual line, they have him, the bookies have him favored for the over as well. So we are agreeing with what the bookies are saying there. Karl-Anthony Towns' usage rate from the 3-ball has just been absolutely fantastic. And the way this New York Knicks team play is definitely Brunson, Josh Hart, all these other great players like to really focus on the inside and get going. And it does open up a lot of the floor for Karl-Anthony Towns to hit those 3-balls. So coming into this matchup, I think that's what the bookies are agreeing with us there, that we are expecting a big volume of 3-point shots from Karl-Anthony Towns, especially against a team like Cavaliers. And when we look at the projections as well, we do see that they haven't projected for 1.9 3-pointers as well. So they actually do agree with us there, which I think is fantastic to see. So that's why coming into this matchup, we are definitely expecting the over from someone like Karl-Anthony Towns coming into this game. So definitely keep an eye out for Cat. When we actually look at that projection and also looking at the last 15, we have seen him do a very, very good job and hit a high volume amount of 3-balls, especially against, easier matchups. So are expecting the same coming into this next one. All the signs really do point towards the over for this one. And I do believe that, yes, he has struggled a little bit over the last 5, but now it's brought this line a little bit too low, and now there's a lot more value actually to go on the over there. So I definitely would keep an eye out for the over for this one. So Karl-Anthony Towns, 1.5 3-pointers made for less, I think is a fantastic pick.